What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is Sunday, tomorrow is Monday. That means we start a new trading week for AMC stock, and we have to go over all of the data that you guys need to know, as well as what I expect to happen throughout this next upcoming week. Go over a price target for Friday. Now, last week's price target on Sunday was in between $44 and $45 per share. We hit that price target by Tuesday, so I did up that price target to $50, which completely went on a reversal course right after I gave the price target. So one of them hit, the other one did not. Even though we had a huge bullish technical breakout set up, it just didn't pan out that way. So keep in mind, these are only my opinions. This is not to say, here, go buy a call for $45 or $50 or whatever the price target is that I do claim. It's not to say that. It's to say, hey, this is what the data is suggesting could happen. That is my thoughts. Take it with a grain of salt. So that's what we're going to go over in this video. Give you guys the scoop of what you guys need to know, as well as possible dangers to the markets heading into this week and really for the next couple of weeks. I don't think there will be a big concern, but something to keep on your radar nevertheless. Hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel. Check out the links in the description if you guys want access to all of my trades in real time. Every time I buy or sell stock, options, and or crypto, whether it's for the long term, a day trade, or a swing trade, check that out. You guys will be notified in real time. That is the buy and sell alerts in the description, as well as links for free stocks, all of that good jazz. You guys have probably heard the spiel already. Now let's talk about what happened on Friday. So AMC did close at $40.87 per share, up 1.14% in regular trading, and in after hours seen a pretty decently sized move, up 0.54% and up 22% in the after hours. So that's a definite strong close and a strong after hours move. And if you guys don't know this, 95 or more percent of the time, if we are green on Friday, we are also green on Monday. That is something that is long running throughout all of 2021. Typically, we do have green Mondays. Now, we do have very low volume, and that is something to consider. With the low volume and the price action that we are seeing, we're just seeing a lot of people that are holding on to the stock, not necessarily a huge increase in buyers or sellers, because the volume was only 20.5 million. That is substantially lower than basically anything we have seen over the past couple of months. So that was very interesting. The markets do tend to slow down around the time of Thanksgiving, and after Thanksgiving they tend to start going upwards. That is called the Santa Claus rally. But that is mainly due to people being bullish about the markets, as well as institutional investors going away on holidays. And retail investors tend to be more bullish, so they tend to buy more stocks. There's not a lot of shorting that happens in this time of the year. A lot of tax considerations and selling out, tax loss harvesting. If you guys have not seen that and my explanation why I think the MOASS is actually close, check that last video out that I just made yesterday. So that is the current situation. That's really what has been happening over the past, couple of weeks. Something to watch out for is to see if that volume comes back into the stock this week. If it does, we will get a move to the upside. I'm not bagging on that though. We did stay above $40 per share, which was this main level to be watching for, as well as the 50-day and the 100-day moving average that is pinned at $39.86 per share. And we did hit that, bounce right off of that, and we also did hit that on November 18th. That was here on Thursday, bounced off of that, and closed above that obviously on Thursday and Friday. So that is a good sign right here, showing some strength overall. We did get rejected off the 40 for really the $45 level about 4 times now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So watch that for a resistance level. I do think we will likely be close to that. So if I put a price target, and I really want to put a price range here, so in between about $43 and $45 per share is what I expect. I don't necessarily think we're going to break out past 45. We could definitely approach that and probably stay around there towards the end of the week, just because this resistance level is very, very strong. And until we get some kind of catalyst or shorts covering or just something to push us higher, then we probably won't go too much higher, but I don't expect us to go too much lower as well. So watch that $40 level as the worst case scenario. Price target in between $43 and $45 per share. Now let's go over the option activity and really all of the other data that you guys need to know. Wrap this video up with the dangers that could affect AMC heading into this next week and for the next couple of weeks. Now, as far as the options are concerned, we are seeing a lot of open interest that is just out of the money. This chain does only go to the $85 strike. And what is very interesting is that the $85 strike doesn't have the highest open interest, which is something that we have seen almost on every single expiration, where the last strike on the chain has the most open interest just because it's the cheapest. Now, the contract with the most open interest next week is actually the $50 strike, and that holds a considerable amount of these out the money contracts for open interest at almost 23,000 contracts, 17,000 for volume here on Friday. And these are relatively cheaper, only about 63 cents, but they do expire on Friday. So there is a decent amount of people that are betting a decent amount of money that AMC does at least hit $50 by the end of this week. I don't necessarily think that is going to happen, but if we do start to see a move to the upside, you're going to see a lot of hedging that does have to be done. Now, it's a great sign that we closed above 40 because we did have 3,100 for open interest that did close in the money, or contracts, I should say, that did close with value. So those contracts had to be hedged for, likely why we did see a 0.5% move here in the after hours. But in between the 41 and the $50 strike, you're seeing over 1,000 even on the lowest contract for open interest, which is the $41 strike at 1,600 for open interest. But relatively speaking, 3,300, 4,100, 3,200, 7,600, 3,000, 1,800, 2,300, and 2,300, leading into that 23,000 for open interest. So you are seeing a decently high amount of open interest relative to the volume that we are seeing, only about 20 million. It could be considerable, and that's what really matters, is the volume that we see on any given day and how many contracts run into the money. If you put it in that perspective, if we do see AMC go to about $45 per share, or just go up a couple dollars per day, that would be close to 10% of the volume on any given day relative to the volume that we did see on Friday. Like I said, about 20 million. So we can see a quite small gamma squeeze. I wouldn't say substantial, that was the word that I was going to use, but like I said, relative to the volume, these are pretty good numbers that we are seeing of contracts just out of the money. Now, that's a situation with that. I don't expect anything too crazy, as we only have about 110,000 for out of the money calls and only about 7,600 for in the money calls at the current moment. And after that, don't expect anything too crazy until the December 17th expiration date. And by what I mean crazy is just volatile moves to the upside or the downside. Looking at about 34,000 for calls that are in the money for that December 17th monthly expiration, and about 212,000 calls that are out of the money. Definitely a decent amount, something to keep on your radar to see and watch how this does populate. We could see this populate very fast, or it could stay relatively stagnant heading into that week when you do see a lot more people just buying the weekly contracts. So keep that in mind. We can see gamma squeeze type movements just because the low volume that we are seeing, but I wouldn't bag on that, like I said. Now, the short interest, just throw the estimates out the window. It's only estimating 15.57% short interest and only about 80 million shares that are currently sold short. As we do know, that is pretty wrong. We have had up and down movements, but nothing that would suggest that shorts are actually covering. Now, what I would refrain you guys to is the exchange reported short interest history for AMC. The last settlement day was October 29th. AMC was about $35 per share. So yes, we have moved up, but we have also seen a lot of contracts that have went in the money and closed in the money. So, well, by expiration closed in the money. So I do think a lot of the price action move from 35 to 45 and then down to 40 was just due to market makers and hedging, not short covering. So we did have 18.5% short interest, 2.66 days to cover, and about 95 million shares that were sold short. Take a little bit off the top. I would estimate about 18% short interest is reasonable at the current moment. Share utilization is at 75.76%. This has went down over the past 7 days, so there is more shares that are available to currently be sold short than we have had in recent history. So watch for that. There is ammo to sell the stock short And like I said, I'm referring to this a lot, but with the low volume, if you do see shorting the stock, you will know that. You will see, like we seen the day after earnings, only about 25 million for volume, but the stock dropped 11%. That was obviously a lot of shorting, not a lot of selling of shares. So that's really what you guys need to know from that. Now, as far as potential dangers and stuff to watch out for, so we should get the Fed nomination either today or tomorrow. And essentially, Powell is expected to get renominated, but we could get some crazy announcement of somebody else. This is definitely not off the table, but somebody besides Fed Jerome Powell or Brainard. Something crazy could come out. Watch for that to be a negative catalyst. If that does happen, it's not expected to, but it's definitely not off the table. It's widely expected either to be Fed Jerome Powell or Brainard that takes over, and Powell and Brainard tend to think along the same lines. Easy money policies, not wanting to taper too fast or raise rates too fast. So if Brainard does get nominated, I don't expect a huge reaction from the markets unless we do get somebody that is super hawkish that wants to raise rates fast. That will definitely have an impact to the markets and send us downwards. Now, other than that, watch for these COVID lockdown headlines because we are seeing a lot of countries in Europe that are starting to lock down. COVID cases in America are starting to tick to the upside. And actually, the state that I live in, Michigan, just hit all-time high COVID cases per day. So just watch for the headlines. Watch to see if this does, turn into another, bad COVID winter situation. If we do get the government talking about lockdowns are still on the table or anything along those lines with COVID lockdowns, watch for that to affect the markets because AMC will be an easy target to sell short. And with that low volume, if you do see that start to actually happen, you will see the stock go down considerably. Not forever, but in the near term. And this is not something I'm really expecting because the cases are way low compared to what they have been. Obviously, this is about double the cases we had last time this year around, or last year about this time of the year. So just keep that in mind, guys. Nothing too crazy, but you could definitely have some supply constraints that could happen due to Europe locking down and other countries potentially. So that is basically the scoop. That is what to watch out for. Yet again, price target, just to reiterate, worst case scenario about $40 per share. A better case scenario in between $43 and $45 per share. That is my price prediction. Obviously, these videos are not financial advice. Do not hold me to this. Always protect your own money and come to your own conclusions. That is very important. But that is going to pretty much do it for this video. Hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel as well as check out the links in the description if you guys want access, like I said, to all of my buy and sell alerts in real time. We have been killing it over there. Check that out. Link for that in the description as well as links for free stocks, and the main brokerages that I use are down there. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.